Well, hello there everyone, welcome to Season 3 of my F1 2012 career mode. I am LoveSpuds, and yes, we are with the prancing horse, Ferrari. And here is my Q3 lap. Now, I know it's been a few days since I last put up an F1 video, and then they had the montage after that. But I had to have some time to finish off Assassin's Creed and start up this new season. Record a few races so I don't fall behind too much. Obviously my target is to finish Season 3 by the end of April, so hopefully that shouldn't be too bad. So what's going on in this season so far? I see my teammate Massa, as I have replaced Alonso at Ferrari. I have taken the number 5 car. I'm the number 1 driver. Massa ended up dropping out in Q2. I believe he finished in 15th, which isn't very good for our Constructors' Championship prospects, because obviously last season when I was at Mercedes, Schumacher gave me more of a hard time than Felipe has done so far. Nico Rosberg returns to fill his seat again, the one I've vacated. Forza India seems to be doing relatively well this season as well, better than they were last season, because they ended up in Q2, actually ahead of Massa in 13th and 14th respectively. And Toro Rosso seem to be the back marker team at the moment. It's only the first race, there's still plenty of time left. And here is my time, a 1:27.6. which is very obviously pole in this professional difficulty mode. I'm still not confident enough to go to Legend, because I think Legend is like 1:23 or something the pole time. I'm not sure. Something stupid that I'd never be able to do, especially not in an automatic anyway. But yeah, as you see, Schumacher actually managed to qualify second, but I managed to get one hell of a start. As a lightning start, I didn't even need to use Kers, and Raikkonen has moved up. Schumacher has fallen back to God knows where, because Raikkonen and Hamilton have overtaken him. As I say, the Lotuses actually qualified relatively well, as you might have seen from the results there. It kind of looks like they're on a bit of a charge, because McLaren are a little bit off the pace from where they were at this time last season. Already I got a 2-second gap to Raikkonen, but that's nothing too unusual, considering that you are always faster than the AI on the first lap, of course. No doubt I will mess things up eventually and end up losing a place or two to whoever's behind me, because it's difficult for me. I don't know about anyone else. It's difficult for me to win the first race of the season because of Sector 3. Sector 3 a particular problem, because the AI are so fast in that sector. You have to really be like 2 seconds up on them in the previous 2 sectors to make any sort of difference over the course of the lap, because once they get past you, they will run away with it. This car, in general, the Ferrari, it was a bit of a pig in the real world F1. It didn't drive very well at all. Didn't make it to Q3. In this game, in this season, it feels okay. It's not perfect. I mean, I think McLaren is obviously a bit more stable for what I've done in other modes, but despite the relatively good times this car can produce, because I'm also running a race department setup that someone has posted on, which is not necessarily designed for a career, but it is working for me. I mean, despite the good times, it does suffer a bit later on when that tyres go off a little bit. You still have to control it like a wild stallion that it's meant to be. Now, Alonso had a lot of trouble controlling the car last year, but he's such a skilled person in handling that car, then that you know, he didn't really notice that much. He just knew the car was slow. And I was kind of expecting the car to be slow, but then again, this is season 3 and cars change around a bit in terms of pace. So I mean, the team finished 3rd in the constructors last season behind Mercedes, so it's not going to be that far off the pace. At least I won't have too many troubles with the tyres going off. At least I hope not. I guess it all depends on the setup I use, but at least the rear tyres won't overheat as badly as they did on the Mercedes. At the moment things are settling down. I don't think a lot happens in this race. There are a few good bits from what I remember. I recorded this like a couple of days ago, so just a lot of these things are going to be like reminders rather than me knowing what I did, as is most of my post commentary. Yeah, just short word about the montage. As I say, I left a comment on the video saying if you're from the US, Canada or Germany and really did want to see it, then I'm going to have to send you a download link if you send me an inbox message, because I didn't actually know at the time that the music that I used, as I do a little bit of slide action coming out last corner, I didn't actually realise that the song that I used would be blocked. I mean, I assumed that there would be copyright problems, and that obviously I wouldn't be able to monetize it. I mean, I accepted that. That has happened on my last few videos. But obviously it depends on who owns the music, and some companies do block certain things in certain countries, which is a pain in the ass. I wish they wouldn't do that, because you know, it's not exactly doing it any harm. I mean, obviously you shouldn't be able to claim on it. I agree with that, because it's not your content, but really, would it do any harm just to show off the video? I mean the music in the video. It might actually promote the track. I mean, why would it hurt them? I mean, if someone wanted to rip the music off this video, or that video, they could easily download the video. So, what's the big deal? You know, they always get around it. But anyway, enough of that. Unfortunately, if some of you haven't been able to view it, as I say, I'll give you a download link if you want to see it. But yeah, in the next montage, hopefully I'll choose a more suitable track for the montage. I'm having trouble with the handling of this car a little bit. I'm sliding about a bit. I think because I've got crap on my tyres occasionally. I think mostly my fault some of the time, and then the fact that the setup is kind of a little bit different from what I'd usually go for. I think the balance is quite strange for a start, but hey ho, we'll get by. I mean, you know, if I can handle Mercedes, I think I can just about handle the Ferrari. I mean, it's meant to be a bit of a beast. Bit of a wild beast. I didn't realise Hamilton had got past Raikkonen. They've got their own little fight going on, so hopefully they should hold each other up rather than trying to challenge me for the lead. I mean, that's the idea anyway. But yeah. In the world of F1, what has been going on? We've had all our pre-season tests, and now we're just waiting for the race in Australia, which is just over a week away now. Be glad to get back to the Formula 1 season again, see that start all over, and I wouldn't be surprised if, going out on a limb, but I wouldn't be surprised that Vettel would still be a dominating force with Red Bull. He is, I assume he's very likely to take his 4th championship. I hope he doesn't. As much of a good driver he is, I do really want to see someone else take the crown, but you know, you never know. Red Bull are usually quite strong in the later part of the season, from what I've seen in the last couple of seasons where there's been a close call with Alonso. I mean, 2011 was just a whitewash, but 2010 and 2012, both those years they came back from behind, especially in the Asian stage of the season. But yeah, yeah, that's where I lose the lead to Raikkonen, who actually got past Hamilton at some point. But yeah, as I say, Lotus are on a charge. I think Grosjean's not actually far behind Hamilton. If that was the other car that I saw appearing with those arrows. My tyres are slightly off, which is not great considering that Raikkonen can probably build up a gap now. But yeah, I'm just wondering if this season's going to be end up being me against the Lotuses as I slide again before coming into the pit entrance. Let's see how well this pit crew do today. They're meant to be better, if not as good as the Mercedes. Yeah, 4 seconds. It's okay. I'm still behind Raikkonen. Ideally I want to catch him up, obviously. Just going to flick my mixture up to rich. I mean, why not? Because I put the fuel load as cautious, which may have been not a great move, but I think I needed the extra boost for most of the race. About 4 laps of extra fuel or something or other. Because I am usually off the pace when it comes to catching up to people. Today will probably be no different considering how fast they are in Sector 3, as I said. But yeah. Going back to the real world Formula 1, I've been quite surprised by the Mercedes pace. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to top the timesheets for more than one day. I know rain was a factor in Hamilton's times, but I think he set those before, at least one of them before the rain came down, so that didn't really prove too much. You can't read too much into pre-season testing times, but Mercedes actually looking like they have improved. It'd be interesting to see how they do in Australia in the subsequent races, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hamilton is up there challenging for a podium. I mean, that's a bold thing to say, but it really wouldn't surprise me. As long as they don't have any problems with the car or the tyres, because we still don't know what tyres are going to do when we get to Australia. Hang on a minute, I'm coming up on Hamilton. Just speaking of him. Looks like we're going to try and make a move on the outside of this corner. Going round, giving him enough space, but I should be on the inside of this corner. And nicely done. No contact whatsoever. Clean pass. And back up to second. Hamilton could have actually had the lead there, but he just didn't have enough of a gap. His pit crew got him out ahead of us, but it didn't help him too much. As I say, I think McLaren are a little bit off the pace at the moment, as I have a little bit of a moment there, which I believe was my fault because I got on the grass before I was braking or accelerating or something. So I don't blame the car or the game at all for that one. And now my driving gets a bit sloppy now that Raikkonen is going to run away. But yeah, so I'm really getting in trouble here. It does get a little bit better, don't worry. But as I say, yeah, I think the one to watch is Mercedes at the moment. McLaren apparently still have a bit of work to do, but on the right track. Ferrari are targeting a podium in Australia. so they look like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Red Bull do what they usually do. I think they'll still be a threat, but they may not. I'm thinking they may not be on the top step of Australia. I may be wrong, I don't know. But as I say, the pre-season testing this year wasn't exactly conclusive for any team, to be honest. The bad weather, having rain, disrupt quite a few practice sessions, and the cold weather meaning that you're not going to get an idea of how the tyres are going to work when you get to Australia, which is going to be substantially hotter than Barcelona at this time of year. So you can't really tell who's going to be out in front, really. So there's not a lot of useful data for the teams in that respect, but it does make for quite an interesting start to the season, and possibly another season like you had last year. Like a bit of uncertainty, some drivers coming up from the back to possibly even win races. You never know. I'd be surprised if we saw the 7 different drivers winning this year. I can't see that happening again and soon. It'd be great if it did, but I just can't see it happening again for some reason. I just don't know why. But you never know. I think the gap at the top is sort of a bit closer than it was than last year. Definitely in terms of interpreting the testing. But obviously all we can do is wait for Australia and see what happens, basically. End of story. Grosjean has overtaken Hamilton. Looks like both Lotus drivers are going to be on the podium. I don't know where the hell Massa is. He looks like he's at the back somewhere. So if things finish as they are, Lotus are probably going to be leading the Constructors' Championship, which is quite nice to see. Actually, I kind of like to see Lotus do well, especially Kimi. I completely forgot about them as well. They look like they're pretty fast. Kimi hasn't been well for the past few sessions, so that's probably not helped his car's development for him. So he's going to have to maybe do a few practice sessions, a few more practice laps than everyone else in Australia, I'm assuming. But then again, Raikkonen's the sort of person you can just jump in a car and do decent laps. I mean, on his comeback year, he finished 3rd in the championship, so you know, he's not going to be too shabby. I don't know if I've mentioned this. I don't think so, because I think the news came out after I had done the Brazilian Grand Prix of Season 2. Lewis Razzia had the shortest contract in F1 history, I think. I'm sure there's probably someone else, but I can't think of him at the moment. But that means Jules Bianchi, after being passed up by Force India, has ended up landing a seat with Marussia, which is quite cool. It'd be just interesting to see how he does. I don't have much to say on that matter because I haven't really read up on it. I know Marussia are probably going to be looking for a new engine supplier by the end of this year, because I think Cosworth will be pulling out of the sport, as far as I know, and then I don't know, maybe Bianchi will help them get some sort of Ferrari engine. I don't know if it's possible, because you know Jules Bianchi has those Ferrari links, being part of the driver academy, I think, if I believe correctly. I don't know, but I know he's got ties with Ferrari, just like Perez was in the Ferrari driver academy, I think. I always say I think because I can never remember where people have come from, what they've done in the past. because that's why everyone was speculating that Perez was going to replace Massa. But he ended up going to McLaren, obviously. But yeah, looks like we got finally got a full driver lineup for this season, barring any other problems. I did wonder if Maldonado was in a bit of bother, but I'm pretty sure his contract with Williams will be safe, because in obviously the past few days, Venezuelan president Hugo Chavez died after a long battle with cancer, which meant people were concerned about Maldonado and if he was going to be able to continue racing with the sponsorship from the state. But I think most of the sponsorship is coming from the oil company. I mean, it's obviously backed by the state. It's the state oil company. But I think he'll be safe for now. Obviously, can't say for sure, but I would be surprised if they drop the sponsorship, because he's become sort of a national hero from winning the Spanish Grand Prix last year. So I think he's pretty safe. If I know any more on that matter, I'll let you know. But most people will think his seat is safe for now, especially this year. What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, McLaren. McLaren could. There's a rumour going around that McLaren could possibly switch to Honda engines in 2015. They've got a contract with Mercedes that I think runs out at the end of 2014, and they could go back to the Honda engine, which will be a turbo, obviously, because they go back. They will start using turbo engines, 6-litre turbo engines from 2014. It'd be interesting if they can end up going back to the days of the old McLaren, as I have another problem with that corner. Because obviously in the past, with in the Senna days, McLaren and Honda had a magnificent partnership. You could not have got better, because I believe it was McLaren with Honda engines that managed to score 15 wins out of 16 races in one season, totally dominating everyone else. So it'd be interesting to see if they can recapture those days. But obviously nowadays Formula 1 is a different beast entirely from 20 years ago. So obviously that would be a much harder thing to pull off. That's for sure. But obviously Martin Whitmarsh has downplayed talks of it. I don't think they want to reveal anything about any sort of talks or deals before it's time. But obviously there's going to be gossip going around and all that sort of stuff. You can't stop gossip. Gossip is absolutely everywhere. and talking of gossip, there's apparently Bernie Ecclestone has granted Lewis Hamilton's dog a pit pass. I kid you not. His dog has got a pit pass so he can accompany him around the place. Let me just check that again. Let me just check that again. Yeah, Bernie Ecclestone has granted Lewis Hamilton's dog a paddock pass. Oh, obviously not a pit pass, that's a different thing. A paddock pass, so basically, yeah, you could see his dog in the motorhome or something. But yeah, his dog's got a paddock pass so it can travel with him to races. Oh well. It's funny sometimes, it really is. Some of these gossips.
You've got a small lead over Grosjean. Push harder.
Yeah, there's not much else going on, I don't think. I think I've covered pretty much everything that I know at the moment. And it's just in time to be on the last lap, and Grosjean is up for revenge after what happened in Brazil, when I just about beat him over the line and sort of knocked him around a little bit. Give him a taste of his own medicine, I suppose. But, yeah, he's only 6/10 behind us as we come around to the final sector, which could be a problem because he might get DRS across the line. As long as I don't mess up this last corner, so I'm taking it really easy. And Kimi Raikkonen obviously knows what he's doing because he's won the race. Looks like I'm going to come home in second. I don't think Grosjean's going to pass me. Yeah, it should be fine. There we go. Second place, and there he is, Grosjean. He's always a friggin' threat, and I think Hamilton's just finished 4th there. Felipe Massa ends up in 18th. What a bad day for him. But yeah, and then Nico Rosberg in 5th, Perez 6th, Mike Webber 7th, and Jenson Button 8th. So the McLaren's not actually doing that well this time round. But still, it's only the first race, still a long way to go, 19 races to go. And we'll see how it does. Red Bull still a bit of a midfield team, finishing 7th and 10th there. And as you can see, Felipe finished down in 18th. Force India doing a lot better this time round, with Toro Rosso ending up with the back markers, mixing it up. Musha and HRT mixing it up at the back now. Seems a bit more stable. Caterham doing well again. And obviously nothing much to say here because Drivers' Championship standings are exactly the same as the race results. So I can say there, and he got Fernando Alonso at the bottom there in 25th position because he is sitting out the season. He's on a gap year, so to speak. And yeah, as I said, with the Constructors' Championship, Lotus are leading with 40 points, 22 points ahead of Scuderia Ferrari. And they got McLaren, Mercedes, Sauber, Red Bull, Caterham, Williams, Sahara, Force India, Scuderia Toro Rosso, Marussia, and then HRD. So there we go, there's the first race of the season. Celebrating with the 2 Lotus drive behind. And I will join me next time for round 2 in Malaysia. I'll see you then.